Hello, nerds. Welcome to GeekBeast, part of the Geekish Network. This is your daily rundown of geek news by geeks like you. If you're new to our show, we cover the geek news beat and share our opinion with you. Today is Wednesday. That's Thor's Day. And that's actually Odin's Day. It's Odin's Day.
Odin's Day.
And I'm your host, Chuck. And we have Randy. Say what's up to the people, Randy.
Yo, what's up, Geek Beast? Chuck, what are we talking about tonight?
Was California courts say Microsoft leak was Microsoft's fault. So Microsoft's leak that spread Tuesday morning revealed a ton of explosive Xbox secrets, and the United States District Court for the North District of California says it was Microsoft's own fault. On September 15th, the court uploaded dozens of documents related to the Federal Trade Commission versus Microsoft case. A normal part of the judicial process, both Microsoft and FTC have had documents uploaded over the past few months during a preliminary injunction hearing that Microsoft ultimately won. Typically, the documents are heavily redacted with large blocks blacking out sensitive or confidential information. An order signed on Tuesday by Judge Jacqueline Scott Courtley, who was presiding over the case, that says Microsoft is to blame for the blunder. And the court said it ruled on the remaining issues evidence sealed on September 7th, asking for parties to provide a secure cloud link with established redactions made to the exhibits. Microsoft, she wrote an order, provided the secure cloud to the court, which then uploaded the documents to the file repository. So over roughly 12 hours, journalists and others poured over the documents, which revealed an all new Xbox Series X design. Xbox chief Phil Spencer's desire to buy Microsoft's misjudgment of Baldur's Gate 3, among much more. So apparently all the documents leaked out. And the courts are saying it's Microsoft's fault.
So, I guess, was it intentionally Microsoft's fault? Or did they just...
It seems like it was an accident. That's what it seems like. I don't think it was Microsoft's fault at all. Probably. It was probably the court's fault. They're just blaming Microsoft. Like, hey, it's your fault. You know, you gave us a secure link, and somehow or another, somebody got the link on the outside.
I don't know. That's interesting. Like, this whole story is interesting.
The information that leaked out, Microsoft would definitely not have leaked it.
Huh?
They would have definitely not have leaked it.
I don't think Microsoft's going to leak their own mistakes.
No, they're not. Not.
I don't know. That's That's interesting what we got going on here. And
Nor the desire to buy Nintendo. That's the big one to me. Is Microsoft has a desire to buy Nintendo? There's no way they would delete that. No way.
no,
No way in all they would leak that.
no,
They've always had a desire to buy Nintendo. They won't be the they won't be the first time, you know.
yeah, yeah, they definitely wouldn't have leaked that on their own.
So the funk corrected me. They didn't redact all the documents. Some of these documents weren't redacted. So that was the problem.
Oh,
Hmm.
so that's interesting.
Yeah, so I guess they uploaded them. They didn't upload the redacted versions of the files.
How
Then
does that happen? Okay. Oh, so they didn't redact it and it got uploaded and then it got hacked? Is that what they're
no,
saying?
no. So I guess the that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that would be reserved too. Like only the courts would be able to get those files, regardless they were redacted or not. Only the court would be able to get them.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like the league, because I would imagine there are controls on top of controls to
That's
ensure.
what I'm assuming. That Randy, I'm
Like,
assuming that
how does that?
even if the files weren't redacted, I still think that they shouldn't have leaked out of the court.
I
Well,
don't even
I
see how they. That's a part of their process, right?
but
I
I
mean,
was
because
gonna say, is this part of the once it's uploaded to the court? Is it part of the public venue? Like like
I don't think
all
it.
docs, you can like subpoena the doc. Any
right.
press can just
Yeah.
grab the court docs and.
So I think the lawyers can look at the documents, not for the public though, because what if they
Mm,
got in the hands of the jury? The jury can only
yeah,
hear
especially if
what
it's like an
what was
ongoing
presented to them.
case. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. So it
Yeah.
makes me think like what's
And
going
even
on
for
here?
the lawyers to just overlook that, like
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
documents.
All the documents came in and
But then
everything.
again, if you're sending thousands of documents,
Yeah, something's gonna
it
slip.
is possible
Yeah,
that 100 could get out. Like if you send 2,000 documents,
that's
it's
true.
possible 100 could have skipped the process, and that's still less than 1%. But who
Yeah,
knows what's in that 1%?
that's true. That's true. Maybe that's it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's interesting. It sounds like, according to the article, there's been other cases where it happened, like Sony messed up too, where they didn't redact some stuff. I do remember that. Remember when they redacted and it showed like how much
Yeah.
those games cost to make.
Yes.
Like it showed like it revealed like how much some of those games cost to make. But then the one thing that's really interesting. I mean, several things are interesting, but the Nintendo thing is interesting. But the new
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
the new
The funk came
console
in.
is pretty interesting too.
Yeah. Everybody expects that though. Everybody expects a new console. Everybody expects Microsoft's always wanted to buy Nintendo. They were trying to buy Nintendo before the Wii came out. They were like, no, let's chill out. Let's let them drop this Wii and it fail because there's no way this waggle thing's gonna work. And it did work for Nintendo. So Xbox wanting to buy Nintendo's not unknown. I think everybody wants to buy Nintendo.
Makes sense
Like
that
the
they
funk
would
said, they're the crown jewel of the game
right.
development.
It would make sense that they would want to buy a competitor if they have the money, to do so.
Yeah,
That's you at
yeah,
least have to have that conversation, right?
yeah, yeah,
Are we going
yeah,
to pursue buying Nintendo? The
yeah.
question becomes, how serious are you wanting to do it, and how much you willing to commit in order to get it done?
Yeah. And if Nintendo allows itself to be bought.
That's what I'm saying. What are you that's part of the due
Yeah,
diligence too, right?
yeah,
If Nintendo's going to fight this, how much are we willing to pay a premium for it? Because the right price, anybody's going to make the deal, but it's like, how much is the right price? What are we
yeah,
going to
yeah. I don't know. I think the Nintendo would kill itself first.
You think?
I
Yeah,
think they would kill themselves.
because Microsoft is way bigger than Nintendo.
Yes, it is. It is way big.
Xbox man, but Microsoft,
Yeah,
it's almost
yeah.
unlimited
But
fun.
I think Nintendo would kill itself.
Yeah.
Be bought by a Western company, kill itself. They rather for all the developers to fall apart and go independent than be bought by Nintendo, or they'll run under Sony PlayStation and sell themselves a Sony PlayStation.
It's interesting because in some ways this is kind of like This is the whole reason why Japan was closed for centuries. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't allow foreigners into the land for centuries. So this
Yeah.
is almost like just the corporate version of that, right?
This is
It's
why
like
this is why Xbox failed in Japan.
it's gonna be Japan and Japan only, you know?
Yeah. I mean, people care to forget Xbox did fail in Japan. It failed. And it failed because Japan was like, we're not buying a Western game console. We buy Nintendo and PlayStation here. You buy Nintendo and PlayStation here. They made it things like, oh, the controller's too big. Oh, the console's too big. The PlayStation 5 is like 3 feet large. And all of them bought the PlayStation 5. But the Xbox was relatively small in comparison. Oh, it's too big. Oh, Japanese people have little hands, and we can't put our hands. The average male height in Japan is like 5'10". They make up all kinds of reasons. It was it wasn't much bigger than the Sega Saturn controller. It's crazy. They thought of every reason on why not to buy an Xbox.
Really, the reason was they just didn't want to buy
A
Western.
Western console. Hmm.
Yeah,
It's nationalism. Nationalism works, baby.
it does.
Us or not. Next story though, Amazon Alexa is a whole lot smarter and chattier than thanks to AI. So Alexa had their preview, had their event. Amazon's 2023 device launch. The generative AI upgrade has made Alexa much more easier to talk to. The integrated for new LLM large language model means that the new on that not only does it talk more realistic with smoother tones, but it has also had a host of usability upgrades. If you're really keen on AI, then you'll also be excited to know that character AI will be coming to Alexa, letting you talk to historical and fictional figures. Not particularly useful, but a lot of fun. I just want Samuel Jackson. Bring Sam Jack back, baby.
Come back. Where did Sam go to? I didn't know he was gone. What are
He
you
was
talking
on
about?
he was on Waves, and
Are
they
you talking
took
about
him
his
off Waves.
voice?
Yeah, his voice is on Waves. The hit Samuel Jackson, Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin. Who else they had? A bunch of voices on Waves. Batman. I had Batman. Batman was my voice. Yep,
Man, we live in some very interesting
we
times.
do. We
I have
do.
no idea where this is going.
None. This is why I said the strike is going to take so long, because there's so much going on and that they have to discuss.
Yeah.
I mean, they can railroad all the topics and pull them off the table for later, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get this hashed out right now.
They're gonna figure out too. There's gonna be a point where it's like on Star Trek where you just go computer, and then the AI shows up as a hologram, and you have this
Yep.
conversation with it, right? Like,
Yep.
and just tell all that stuff, right? It's just that's so. People are already doing it in like video games. That's not like a mod where
Maybe there,
somebody
but
did
like,
that with like
oh,
Skyrim, where like they're
Yeah.
having AI conversations with Skyrim
That
bots.
that's why all this is going to take a
the
really, really
creation
long
of
time.
data, right? Like, how far is the creation of data? Like, I think like what 10 years
It,
now?
I mean, that's what we have to worry about. We have to worry about digital doubles, deep fakes. We
Yeah.
have to worry about consciousness, which is a digital double basis, and consciousness, voice, mannerisms. Like all those things are separate parts of a digital double, and we have to negotiate all these parts.
So
Like it can look like Randy, but act like Chuck. That's not Randy nor Chuck. That's a whole new human. And does that human have rights of itself? And who has rights of it? Does the physical person it looks like, or the mental person it's acting like?
So the CEO of the company that I used to work for did a town hall meeting, and he said everything that we are doing now was offered to him 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
About 10 years, like he said, about 10 to 12, 10 to 15 years ago. and he thought that there were a lot of ethical issues with it.
There are tons of ethical issues here.
He said the stuff that they have. He said that was 10 to 15 years ago. He said the stuff that they have on the cutting edge now is a complete game changer.
Absolutely. There's so many, so this is gonna go out for a while because you could have digital double that looks like Holly Berry, but behaves like Riley Reid, the corn star, and who says that's wrong? Who has control of that? Does Holly Berry have control of that, or does Riley Reid have control of that?
Well, I mean, Drake just used Holly Berry's AI image, and she was mad about it.
He used the photograph. Yep,
and
he got permission for it though.
He just made a song, and they're not getting. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's a song.
He made a song with him in The Weeknd.
Yeah, and he didn't make the song. And the song is now eligible for. It can be. It's eligible for a Grammy. It hasn't been nominated, but it is eligible. It can enter in the same process the way any song. And the interesting thing about it is, Drake or The Weeknd will not get credited for those songs with their voices.
That song, yep. And you know what's even crazier? Drake and The Weeknd got albums coming out this year. So when that song is nominated, wins in the same category that the AI voice version of those voices actually lose.
Yeah.
The real version of those AI voices loses. That's even crazier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We're at the tip. We're at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. So this is why I said the strike isn't going a long time, because there's a lot of questions. Because you add Morgan Freeman's voice to old Will Smith, whose estate has control of that?
Yeah.
Whose estate has control of that? It's not just adding Morgan Freeman's voice into a cartoon character.
Well, it's like the Tupac hologram, right?
Yeah. Drake, Tupac does a Drake song, for example. Who has rights to that? Drake or Tupac estate, the Shakur estate.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions to be asked here. That have to be answered. A lot of questions that need to be answered. And this is what's going to prolong the strike, because you have actors saying, I want my digital doubles. I want my deep fakes that you use for all the movies. You do not own all those. You cannot use them in perpetuity. Or
then you got some that's selling them at high prices and cashing out, especially if they're older. Like whatchamacallit? Dark Vader sold his rights.
Yeah. Earl Jones.
Oh no. Yeah. Or
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones.
He sold his rights.
Yeah, he did sell his rights.
He did sell his rights. Yep.
Which is smart. He's getting ahead of it.
Right. And imagine what Morgan Freeman's voice rights go for.
They're probably his estate has them. I leave them to my estate, make them non-sellable, but they can always be bought and licensed out.
Leased out. But a lot of people now are selling all their intellectual properties. Rappers are selling all their intellectual properties. Taylor Swift sold hers. I thought it just,
but she never owned hers.
Well, Katy Perry
just sold hers.
Katy Perry just sold all hers.
Yes.
But there are a lot of people that are defined, like even voiceover actors are seeing stipulations in their contract that they can use AI.
Did Katy Perry sell her songs, or did she sell her voice?
She sold her publishing rights, her songs.
Yeah, her publishing rights. And I'm just saying,
she didn't sell her. She didn't sell her person though.
Oh, she didn't sell her person.
She didn't sell her
voice. Referring to the people are out here selling.
Yeah, publishing. There's no money in publishing. There's no money in it.
Well, she sold it for like 200 something.
Yeah, she sold it for $200 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's probably the most. That's probably the most she could probably ever get for them too.
And I'm not sure she sold the full catalog or was a piece of it or something. I just know she got $200 million.
I think Taylor Swift just got hers back though.
She remade it.
Yeah, that's how she got around it. She remade like versions. And then
people bought onto it too.
Yeah, all her fans bought the new version.
It works for her. It doesn't work for a lot of other artists.
It's not true because she's mastered.
Rolling Stone, it doesn't work for her. Aerosmith, it doesn't work for her.
Yeah.
You want the original recordings. People are not going to buy War Pigs from Black Sabbath. They remade it today.
Right.
They're not gonna trust Ozzy's voice today. Even though it may sound better. It smells sound creakier.
So it's a lot going on. But back to the point we were just talking about, I don't know, some artists are selling it early. And that's kind of what's going on with the strike, isn't it? It's like they want to have the ability to take any extra and then you own their likeness into perpetuity. So, you know, you sign somebody, they're just an extra, but they turn into The Rock or Tom Cruise. You're now saying, oh shit, they were in one of our movies. We can take their likeness and use it and don't have to pay them ever.
Yep.
Yeah, there's evidence that they were doing that already. They basically paid the day rate of an extra and then scan them digitally, their full body 3D scan. And so they basically paid them $200, and then in their contract they could use that digital extra whenever
they want to.
Whenever they want. So instead of hiring extras in the future, they just put digital doubles in.
And that was one of the sticking points to strike. They're like, no.
And the bad thing about that is that digital extra would never act like that actor. But imagine if you're an actor, like they took Liam Hemsworth from a movie and they took his whole acting and his whole acting style, and they made that a digital character, a deep fake of him. And they use that. So they have an AI controlling all the words he says, but it acts just like him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And if the actors are smart, which I'm pretty sure they got lawyers on it, I'm pretty sure the unions have lawyers, it's like, what do we do when this happens? Speaking of that, George R.R. Martin and other authors are suing OpenAI for copyright infringement.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand how they get around copyright with these things. Like if you're taking somebody's voice,
they don't use their actual words. They just write it in their style. So more authors sued OpenAI for copyright infringement, joining other writers and suing legal action against generative AI companies for using their books to train AI models. So what they're doing is saying, we're taking your conscious, we're taking the conscious the way you think and how you write, and that's what the books are learning on, is how you do it, and then we're just copying it. We're not literally copying you. We're copying.
I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know how they can get around, because I mean a human can do the same thing. I can read all George R.R. Martin's work, and I can write in his writing style, like what I think he would, and he can't sue me for, unless I take the actual characters and the copyrighted material. But there's derivatives all the time.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So that's what the writers are striking for. They're striking for that too. It's like, hey, I'm a great screenwriter.
I think a lot of artists are doing that too.
Yep.
Like not just writers, but like visual artists,
songwriters, digital writers, illustrators, illustrators. Yep.
They're saying, hey, look, you're feeding my images into this
AI, and this AI is coming back with some of the best work
that looks exactly like mine. Yeah,
or similar to some other artists combined very nicely.
That though.
What's up?
I think they're gonna win. I really do think they're gonna win.
You think who's gonna win?
I think the artists will win.
How?
Because they're using the art and images
to teach it.
But then not only that, like they're making monetary. Making money from that.
Human beings can do the same. Like I can copy somebody's style. But how is that different? Like if I copy somebody's style, I don't take the characters. But
that's how they teach you in art school. You copy other people's styles until eventually you teach your own.
George Lucas is copying Kurosawa films. He's literally copying them. How do you stop that?
He is copying Kurosawa films. Yeah, how do you stop
that? So if I buy something, I'm I like it.
These are the questions that need to get answered.
I just mimic the style of it, right? I mimic the style of it. Similar.
That is true.
There's derivatives of stuff.
That is the hard part. This is gonna be an ugly answer. Somebody's not gonna be happy at the end of this.
Yeah. Because isn't the one show that's coming out on Netflix was basically a Star Wars film, but they changed the
Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
Yeah, Zack Snyder wrote the film as a Star Wars film.
Did he changed it up?
They rejected it, and so he changed it up to be his own film for Netflix. But that is it, right? Like the copies all the Shakespeare's. If AI only learned Shakespeare and copied out stories just as good as modern day Shakespeare, the one that Leonardo DiCaprio was in, that was the Baz Luhrmann film. Like where does it stop? You know, so because what they're going to say is this: AI is just a really smart student. It's just a really smart student,
And
and it should be allowed.
we have
But I understand George R. R. Martin's side. You're taking my physical work
I
and
agree.
you're actually using it
I
to make something just as good as me to compete against me.
mean, that's literally been going on since like copyrights have existed. They're literally artists out there. Elvis Presley's the king of rock and roll.
Yeah, and he copied the whole entire style. Everything
Yeah.
about him is derivative.
Yeah, everything about him is derivative.
True. 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 What
So
do we do? This is gonna be hard because
the difference
I
is,
understand the Authors Guild is like, yo, this shit is wrong.
I agree, and I'm not saying it's
Like
right.
you copy the library, you copy the Library of Congress. Google has every book digitized that's been written in human history and translated. So you can have the best authors coming out of AI for the next foreseeable future.
I don't want this to happen, but I don't understand legally how you can stop it.
Yep. Like the nerdy entrepreneur said, they're not going to win the case in a lot of ways, at least in the US. Yeah, the money's going to talk. You know, it goes to the Supreme Court. And I know in this current court we have, they definitely don't give a shit about these artists.
Not at all.
Yeah, like she said, that's called life. It is what it is. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Actors are going through this. All the artists are going through this. Writers are going through this. It'd be different if AI, but they're like, hey, the AI can go to all the art schools. It can take every curriculum in art school.
All right. And isn't that what you do?
It'll come out the same way.
Isn't that what you do in art schools? Is study other artists and then try to work and develop your own style? Some people are good at it, some people are not.
You do. Yeah. This is hard.
We literally read books in school. It's like, hey, this is how Dickens wrote this. This is how such and such wrote.
Like just the editing software out there, right? The editing software that's really good. It's copied looked at every movie and how every edit cut is made, and it learns all of it. And so you can say, make my film like Kurosawa's film. Here's all the footage, and it takes it, reads your script, cuts it all up, boom, 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 the way Kurosawa would have cut it up.
I give you the perfect example, like Transformers and GoBots.
Yeah.
Probably like,
yeah. GoBots is a knockoff version of Transformers.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I think actually GoBots came before Transformers. Transformers was the better version.
Right.
iPhone, Apple iPhone, Samsung Galaxy phones, they're the same idea, and they're both knockoffs of the BlackBerry.
Right. So I don't know how you could tell somebody.
See, these are the questions that
style. Well, every single student does that.
This is what these unions want to answer. They want answers for this. They want to protect this. Oh, I guess we're good for crosstalk at 7:58. We should bring in everybody, Rodney. This has been an interesting conversation, though, Randy. This is where we at. This is scary. Because what's the point in college then?
Right.
You know, there's an AI right now that's handling legal cases. They won't let it into the courts, but they're willing to pay people like $100,000 to let it handle their court cases. And if it's successful, it changes all legal precedents.
Technology is they couldn't create art. Shit, that's gone.
Gone. Yeah. Well, I was one of those people that believe they couldn't create art. I said art's gonna be the last thing because art's the hardest thing to copy. And they went at art. The first thing they went after was art.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, Catherine?
Doing good. How about you? Yeah.
Well, hey, Rikai.
in the back. My thing is starting.
Oh,
Yeah, we just
What's going on?
We saw you. Now you disappeared again. Your camera's cut off.
oh no, sorry.
You're fine, Captain. Your camera's on.
we're fine.
Yeah,
I
I
like
have
your
like.
back.
Thank you. Yeah, I have like this thing up, and I'm like trying to move it, and it just popped up, and now it's in my way. Okay, let me move this. Sorry, let me move my camera stuff. Okay, that's gone now. Awesome, cool. How's everyone's? I guess it's Wednesday, Woden's Day, Odin, the day of Odin.
It is a day of Odin. It's day of
Yeah.
Odin.
Yeah,
We were having a deep intellectual conversation over here, you all.
yeah. You're
George
talking about-
R. R. Martin has stepped up and said, "Hey, let's sue these bastards. Let's sue OpenAI." What do y'all think is going to happen with that? Is it okay? Because AI is learning, and they're taking all his works and everybody's works in the whole entire world and ingested them.
I think there's a lot of misinformation on artificial intelligence, but like a lot of people just don't understand how it works, and they're just kind of throwing things out. It's not quite accurate, but there definitely is. I think it's important to have like a legal action to it. I just hope the people who are doing the legal action know what what it's actually doing versus like bad diagrams of how it works.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like I know they were talking about like if OpenAI gets sued and like possible shutdown of it, but I don't know, I'd have to read more into what how he's going about it and like all that stuff, but curious about how it's going to come about. It's really interesting in the legal world of artificial intelligence, and I do think there will be legal action. I mean, there's already copyright where people who are using generative AI, if you're purely using any form of text, image, video, generative AI in the United States, you don't have ownership over it. If you go through the US copyright laws over it, they have a whole bunch of listing. It's like you have to have a certain amount of human touch. I know with that, there's going to be court cases about what percentage is done by humans, what percentage is done by artificial intelligence. But yeah. So.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now we talk about the music and for the Grammys, like the Weeknd and Drake song that's made by generative AI could actually be posted in for a song of the year. So they're actually going to try to get it nominated for song of the year.
Oh man.
And Drake and Weeknd don't get any credit for that. It's the guy that created the AI model.
And okay, so he created the model too.
Yeah, he created the model too.
That one I have issues with. I have issues with that. Like did it take their voice?
It took their voices.
If it takes their
voices and styles, yeah,
that's cool. I don't think you take the voice.
Song is a banger, though. It is a banger. It is a banger, and it sounds like a Drake and Weeknd song. It sounds like something they would make.
Yeah, I think it would have been more interesting if he had like made his own voice with it, like made a voice that wasn't like their voice per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see how that's gonna fly. Like I feel like that's gonna get shut down. And yeah, but it is interesting that he made. Huh?
I mean, R. Kelly sound like Aaron Hall. Trey Songz sound like R. Kelly. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's the same art.
I hear you, too. You're muted. Yeah, this is fascinating.
Avant sounds like R. Kelly.
Yeah,
yeah. We've had this happen with humans, right? So
yeah,
styles is hard to the style is hard to copyright. Like you
can't copyright style.
Yeah, you can't copyright style. So the AI is doing what humans have always done, but at a very flip.
With AI is biting. AI is biting their style.
It is, but
I mean, if you look at music today, all the rappers sound just alike.
Yeah,
almost all the country music sounds just alike.
Right. Did Bruno Mars get into trouble with like, I guess his style or something? There was some sort of trouble I think Bruno Mars got into.
Yeah.
And then what is it? Someone there's a bunch of lawsuits with like.
With Bruno Mars, though, it wasn't necessarily that that he got into legal trouble. I think it was more that he was attacked for what's it called? Cultural appropriation. That he was, he's acting like black people. He's stealing black people music, and he's like, I'm Filipino, and like
And I got an all black band.
He was like, who didn't grow up loving Prince? I was like, you got right there.
Yeah.
Who didn't grow up Michael Jackson, James?
Who wasn't inspired by these people?
Who was not? Give me an artist. Give me one. Give me just one. Just one person. Give me one person. Just one.
Maybe think of like Marvin Gaye. Someone had a court case.
Pharrell and Robin Thicke.
Yeah. But they lost that case.
They lost that case. Yeah.
They lost because they stole, they interpolated, or however you want to say it. They stole, they sampled that part of Blurred Lines from one of them old songs.
Gotta get clearance. You gotta get clearance, baby. You gotta get clearance.
On a case, the guy who played the ukulele. The redhead dude? What's his name?
Plays the ukulele. Redhead dude plays the ukulele.
Yeah. He's dope. He's super dope.
I don't know.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
He just got super style. There was like,
he won.
Like, no, I mean, I'm inspired by it, but you can't
for style, yeah.
Yeah, you can't copyright it.
It was the Marvin Gaye estate, matter of fact, I think it was.
It was. They lost against it because he said the same thing.
So the AI is doing what humans have already done. I don't know how to do this.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I can't wait for AI to take over music again. Because God forbid the current creative music is so bad. I have not heard a real voice in a long time. I'm listening to rock music right now. It's like, oh my God, this is what real voices sound like. This is actual human voices.
We're talking about voices, but I was watching something today. Oh, it was an ad for some dude that said, join his master class, he'll teach you how to play piano. And he said, I'll teach you how to play these 4 chords right here. And he had a list of like 100 songs that all had those 4 chords in it. Like, and he switched from song to song to song, and you could not tell. You add in a couple other instruments, but it's the same 4 chords under like 100 songs. Like all popular songs that we've all heard of. And I was like, wow.
I do think beatboxing is going to be very interesting with AI. There's a beatboxer, he like fed it musical instruments, and so he was able to compose like a thing with his beatboxing, and it translated his voice to like instrument sounds. So I can see that applied very interestingly with different sounds and different effects.
You know what? That's how Pharrell makes songs. He beatboxes out all the songs out. He beatboxes everything out. Instruments attached to him. Like Dave Grohl, he sat there and built his whole career on copying Parliament Funkadelics.
Yeah.
He told Pharrell that. He's like, yeah. He said Nirvana. He's like, yeah. He said, all my chords are Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah, because he told Pharrell, he said, I'm tired of you talking about what a great drummer I am. He's like, I'm average. Everything I did, I stole from Parliament Funkadelic and the Gap Band. And then he played it, and it was like, oh shit. Yeah, 100%. It was like,
funk drums for everything. He's like, use funk drums for everything.
I invited him to a barbecue at my house, and I said, I've been copying you my whole career. He said, yeah, where's my check at? And they started laughing. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. These are gonna be some of the greatest talks. The strike, hopefully that we can get to a conclusion in the strike so people can start working again. I really will like that, and I hope the actors and the writers get what they can. They get what they can right now, and I think they should table these issues until they become more pertinent, until we know what exactly is going in. Because trying to gamble against the future is hard.
Yeah, it's also interesting. Like some parts of the writer's strike have come back from like the earlier writer's strike that happened in the 2000s. Like the whole like streaming is now the digital conversation today. So I'm hoping, I do hope they're able to get like a deal, and like writers able to get their demands met. So
stand in complete solidarity with the writers and the actors.
And artists, visual effects artists, and because eventually they're gonna start.
Visual effects artists.
Because there's AI right now being built up for visual effects right now.
There are
for editors right now.
Yeah, like I do like what Wonder Studio's doing, and like there's kind of this approach with augmented reality and like motion capture. So Wonder Dynamics basically does like more of a AR augmented reality filter with like motion capture, and then you have another another company that's doing I guess realistic lighting with augmented reality that you're able to render out like in real time with your phone. It's called Simulsion.
Realistic lighting, really?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll have to send the link, but it's
yeah, give me that. I want that link. That
yeah.
sounds interesting. Light, you don't understand how hard lighting is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Lighting is
All
hard.
that dark skin, you know what I'm saying? It ain't lighting it all up.
Yeah,
that's the easy part of lighting.
I already know. That's just the basic stuff, you know.
But I think there's gonna be an interesting convergence with immersive technology, artificial intelligence, and VFX to like speed up bigger, I guess not speed, but enhance workflows and make better tools for people. I'm just hoping they get to the geometry side of cleaning up models because we need that.
We need tracking and solving done perfectly.
Yeah.
We need that figured out.
Yeah.
Build me a rig. Build me an automatic rig. Automatic rig. Any creature I want to build out there.
Yeah. So
you know, tech artists will be mad at us though. They'll be like, "What? Nah, that's my job. I spent a whole lifetime to do this." Well, look at that. Go ahead.
What are we talking about tonight?
I'm not, I was gonna ask you that. What are we talking about tonight, Randy? Tell him.
If you gaze at Catherine's beautiful background, we're talking Maxis. I hate calling it Max. Maxis Harley Quinn season 4.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying.
You say DC's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, DC.
Can't say DC,
but it's on Max. It's on Max.
On Max, yes, on Max.
The Max.
Not a smarter name for the company, but on the Max.
Yeah.
Oh, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to our show. Thanks, Randy, for being a good co-host for GeekBeast. Thank you, Rodney, for being a great technical director and technical producer. Thank you, Digital Click, for making us look good. You handle our actual overlays and our marketing materials. Shout out to people in the chat, the Nerdy Entrepreneur and the Funk for coming in. We're going to continue this conversation on Friday. We need to continue this conversation. We'll probably invite more people in because there's a lot to discuss about artificial intelligence and where this potentially can go because we have no idea. We have no idea. All we know is they're taking our jobs.
I saw an ad that said it started with artificial intelligence take my job to the next level.
Yeah. that's actually a good one.
Yeah, so.
That is actually good. With that being said, we'll be back up in about 3 to 5 minutes. That means 8:15, 8:20. Let's just say 8:20. We'll just say 8:20 Pacific Standard Time, 11:20 Eastern Standard Time. If you're somewhere in between, you can figure that out on your own math. All right. Peace.
Peace.